Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast on a Tuesday late morning, actually early afternoon. Who knows what time it is? Bo Wolf, Zach Berman, joined in studio by Fletcher Cox at the start of the show. Love it, Fletcher. First of all, you didn't play on Sunday. How we feeling? Or was this like a veterans thing? Was this you got body stuff to heal? What's the deal?
As the season go on, you play a lot of ball, and this year, I played a lot, and we talking to to coach and Howie, and it was like just a group decision, and I was okay with it. I didn't argue with them about it. It gave, I looked at it giving those younger guys, more snaps and more chances to play to get ready for the postseason. So, I feel good. I hate missing games, but in that situation, it's probably one of the ones I kind of needed to sit out to kind of get ready.
It's kind of nice that you don't have like a streak that you have to worry about to continue, so like you can make the appropriate decision there.
No, I'm not worried about streaks, anything like that. I think I did. I think I'm up there with somebody like most games played. Like I think David Akers or so. I mean, I respect that enough. So, with me, I like to be a team player. So,
Well, now we'll get into what's going on with the team, but it's the playoffs now. And at this time last year, I remember by your locker, I was asking you about some of your best playoff performances, and you told me to reach out to Zach Ertz to find out what Zach Ertz calls you this time of year. And I found out
we got to go back and reach out to Zach again this year.
Okay.
For good purposes, and then we'll continue that.
So what's the story of playoff Fletch that you can share with me?
I mean, I think I think against my first, so whatever, how many playoffs I've been, it was almost like, for me, it's just like a total reset, right? It's like, to me, it's like the start of training camp. It's like the start of the first game of the season for me. And I put so much into it when the playoffs come. And the guys that's played in the league for a long time, they know like the playoffs is turned up just a click faster. Everything's a click faster, so you got to realize that. And you try to share the information with the guys in the room. And, me, I just continue to be myself, obviously. Everything speeds up because it's just the playoffs, right? It's when you go home. So that's how I look at it.
And so how do you convey that to like the rookies on this team, the new guys? And do you think that, like, as you talk about the playoffs are a new season, a new start, is it hard to convince guys that like you can just flip this switch? Is that a real thing?
Well, it's a mind thing, right? It's not about flipping the switch, right? It's not about turning the lights on and turning it off. It's all about mindset, right? Your mentality, the way you want to approach, the game. We played this team. We played Tampa early in the season, right? We won, and they're gonna be wanting some get back. They're gonna come out with, and they won their division. They ended their season on a win. We ended our season on with a loss. So they're gonna come out, with their piss hot. I expect us to do the same. And and try to turn this thing around.
You mentioned playing them earlier this season. I'll be honest with you. When the opponent came out and I went back, I watched that Week 3 game. And one thing that jumped out to me is that defense that day looks almost like a different defense than what we've seen the past few weeks. When you watch that film, I don't know if you've gone back yet and watched that Week 3 game, what jumps out to you, or I guess what do you remember from that day, and how do you get back to the way you guys played that day?
We came out ready to play. We know we was on the road against it. They were 2-0, we were 2-0. And it was, it was one of them things, two good teams in Week 3. The defense came out on fire. We knew we had to get after the quarterback. We had to stop the run. We knew there was a really good, efficient 50-50 team at that time of the season. At that point in their season, Week 3, they were pretty balanced. They was throwing the ball, running the ball, and we wanted to make them one-dimensional. And we talked about that all week, which we'll talk about it. They're good both ways. Baker is doing a really good job of getting his playmakers the ball, and we need to affect that like we did earlier in the season.
If I can just go back for a second, what is the Ertz part of the playoff?
Yeah, okay,
Fletch
yeah.
story?
So playoff Fletch. Well, so Ertz calls him playoff Fletch at this time of year, as if like you turn into a different player, a different person, you take it up a notch. And I've told you this, I'll tell the audience this. I thought that game against Atlanta in the 2017 playoffs was the best I've ever seen you play. It was like that particular game.
That was a fun game, dominant game for me actually. I do remember that.
Do you have a game in your mind that was like your best? For me, it's the 2017 game in Carolina when I think you were playing through something and you just dominated that game.
Yeah, that game too. Carolina game. I had come off of a grade 2 calf strain, which which is like a 4 to probably 6 week injury. I missed 2 weeks and came back on the short week, a Thursday night game.
It was a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
It was a Thursday night game. I took 2 snaps in practice. I looked at Howie and said, I'll be ready to go on Thursday. And he looked at me like, kind of like, really? I'm like, I'll be ready to go on Thursday. And, from that moment, I went into the game where it was doubtful, questionable, whatever. I did a pregame workout. Me knowing in the whole time to myself, like, I'm going, like, it don't matter. And we're supposed to be on a pitch count, but that kind of went out the window because I started fast and was consistent the entire game. But that was definitely one of my favorite games.
Do you have another one that's in your mind?
Man, all of them. Man, it's a lot of those games where
Every Washington game, it seems like.
Definitely every Washington game. And I own them. Let me see. Couple of Dallas games I played really, really good against, Zach Martin is, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So we go back and forth. It's so many games out there but I just can't remember the ones, but all of them are special to me at the end of the day.
One thing I want to ask you about is, as everybody on the outside sort of tries to figure out what's going on with this slide at the end of the season, everybody's like parsing words of different interviews they hear. And BG the other day was talking about how, we don't have to like, everybody doesn't have to like each other in the locker room. We have to sort of be pulling in the one direction and be on the same page. Whereas last year, it felt like all we heard about was how tight that locker room was. Do you feel like there is a difference in the locker room this year? And even if so, does that even matter?
I think that, 2 different teams, right? I think now we're a lot younger than we were last year, and just at a few positions. And I think that, just trying to get everybody on the same page where everybody love each other. And I think Nick do a really good job at approaching that, right? One of his team core values is connecting with coaches, players, staff around the building. It don't matter. So just realizing, looking at that, it's 2 different teams. So you have to approach it 2 different ways. You have to approach every guy a different way, which I do. And all the leaders in the locker room do know how to approach certain people to help them to up their game, to motivate them, to get the best out of them. But I think, what BG said, we all got to stick together, right? Now this thing is there's no tomorrow. There's no, I think we can get it right next week. We got to go right now. The time is right now. And you kind of feel that, in the locker room. You kind of feel that doing the lift today, which made me feel really, really good about, what we got going in for this week.
What's your best explanation for what's happened with this defense the past 2 weeks?
You really can't point the finger at nobody, right? It's the coaches. They call the plays. The coaches, they can't play. They can't go out there and play 40, 50 snaps, right? I think, us as players have to hold each other accountable and, and come together and really figure out the problem. The coaches call the plays. Our job is to go out and execute them. In which, there's going to be some up and downs in the swing of things, what goes on. But, I think, this week is really, I think, we'll all come together and try to figure out, pinpoint what's going on. I know our one thing is, last 2 weeks, we really haven't tackled that good, which at the midpoint of the season, we weren't tackling that good, but we was kind of getting away with it, and it's kind of catching up with us. Those are a few things, we can't allow, what's supposed to be a 2-yard gain turn to a 12-yard gain, and we got to do a better job, I think, as a defense of players of putting teams behind the sticks. We're good when we put teams behind the sticks. When teams are 2nd and 2 and 3rd and 1, 2nd and 3, those are waste downs. So I think we'll do a better job of that. We all are coming together, coaches. We trust y'all, players. We all hold each other accountable. Leaders going to lead, and that's what you need to get out of these guys for this first game. We got to go down to Tampa.
From a leadership standpoint, there's the story of AJ Brown addressing the team last week. When do you feel it upon yourself that it's time for the players to sort of take ownership from what's being said by the coaching staff?
I think we're taking ownership from the jump, right? But I think that at the same time, when you take that ownership, as players, it goes back to accountability, trusting each other. If a guy says something to you, it don't matter. Your ego can't be too big where you're saying, who you talking to? I don't care if BG say something to me. Okay, BG, I got you. Right. I don't care if Haas say, yo, Fletch, I need you. I got you, Haas. I'm not bigger than the game. I'm not bigger than the game because, we all need each other at the end of the day, and that's the way I look at things.
Did you go to the escape room?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
How'd you do?
Oh, my squad won.
Your squad won?
Yeah, I think we did it in like 30 minutes.
Okay. Did you have like who was on your squad?
Okay, so it was me, OZ,
Okay. I feel like
Slay,
OZ's a good one to have. Okay.
Mariota.
Oh.
Who else was it? Vontae, I think.
Okay.
I think it who else? I'm missing a couple people.
Who was the MVP? Because I feel like Slay, maybe that's not the situation where you want him on your team because he could be sort of distracting with just conversation about something else.
We all work together, believe it or not. You know, OZ, like, it's really you going. That was my first time going to something like that. I thought it was pretty cool. You're really going there and like the writing really is on the wall. You know, like the clues and stuff, but it makes you really think. You know, I had a good time. You know, it was a good time to hang out with the fellas. You know, which you know everybody needs to do things like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just not about. Yeah, we won. We did it in 30 minutes.
OZ
And,
was the key.
OZ got the OZ. So I found the first clue. I'm not calling myself the MVP by far. And then we finally started to figure things out, and it was like on the door, on the spray paint on the door to get the first locks. So after that, then after you go through the first door, it's like really teamwork. Like you gotta. We used 2 clues, so we did use 2 clues.
Oh, like from the person.
From the person, yeah. From our guide or tour, whoever, whatever you want to call them. We did use our 2 clues because we didn't know if the next room you go to, there's still notes in the first room that get you to access through these things. So it was all a team deal. So we were outnumbered though, because the other team, they had way more people than we did, and they thought they were smarter than us. So you know, less is more. So I'll take it.
Who's the worst at escape room on the team?
You know who was the worst? I think they said who was it? Ojamo.
Okay.
They said Ojamo was one of the worst. I think AJ was laying down asleep in the
claustrophobic in there.
I don't know, but it is. It's tight.
Yeah, it's AJ sets the thing up.
So he needed some rest. My man worked out. Shout out to AJ. Appreciate you, man, setting that up. Much respect for you. Oh, Smitty. What's Smitty? No, Smitty was on the other team, the losing team.
Okay.
But Kelsey was there. BG was there. BG was on the losing team.
I for the rest of Moro Ojomo's career, I'm going to think of him as the bad at escape room.
Oh, they said he was terrible. They said he was terrible.
Oh, man, that's really good.
And now circling back to the playoffs here, as you said, win or go home, right? You're on a 1-year deal. This question keeps coming up. Does it occur? I need to ask you here. Does it occur to you every week that it could be your last time out there?
I don't know, man. We'll see. You know, it's just got a lot of got a decision to make, obviously, after the season. So, it'll be one of them things where you take some time and you think about it, and you think about your next move. But yeah, we'll see.
Are you able to compartmentalize? Like, are you able to be like, this is the season, I can't think about that now, and turn that off? Or is it's got to be in the back of your mind somewhere, right?
It's always in the back of your mind. You know, things come up. It's always in the back of your mind where you probably, man, it's just
take a look around.
You know, right? you look around and you're like, okay. But it'll be a situation where I talk to my family, and it'll be my agent, all the people that's important to me, and and then we'll see.
As a follow up to that, though, even if you are back, right, the team will look different, and you're one of these guys who has been here for a long time, 12 years, playing with. It's rare to have 3 teammates for most of that time, 2 of those guys the entire time, right? Do you look around the locker room and realize that this stretch with these guys, it could be coming to an end soon, however long it is?
You do. You enjoy the moments with those guys. Last week, me and Lane, we went pheasant hunting. Those moments that we get, you don't forget. You just grab Lane. I call Lane, hey man, you want to go here? Oh yeah, man. Meet me there tomorrow at 9 a.m. Those are moments that you enjoy, and then come to realize Lane had so much fun doing that. I should have invited him a long time ago. So those are things like that. You call a old teammate, guy that you've been playing with, been going to play a lot of ball with, going to war with for a long time. Call him up. Now I know Lane enjoy pheasant hunting, right? Yeah. So now, like, anytime I get ready to go, I'm gonna make sure I call Lane and see if he want to go.
Do you have do you think back to like the first time you met Lane or Kelsey or BG? Like,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I still remember the first practice rep I got against Lane. You know, I was lined up as a 4 technique and he was lined up at tackle, and I said to myself, it was my second year, and I was like, man, this guy going to be good. You know, and look at him now 11 years later. You know, Kelsey, the first time I met Kelsey, it was, you know, he was with Howard Mudd, and Howard was just streaming. It was one-on-one pass rush, one of them deals. And obviously, you know, BG, he my locker mate for this long. So, you know, still remember the first time meeting him, and that you're looking up like, dang, man, I'm really sitting beside Brandon Graham, you know, just things like that. So those are moments you always remember, conversations you always remember having with those guys, and you enjoy it. You know, those are things like still conversations that me and BJ have on Lane, Kels, you know, at the breakfast table. So lunch table, it don't matter. So you always enjoy it.
And now Bo and I get to be in the locker room, so we understand partially what it's like to have a locker next to Brandon Graham. But can you explain to the audience who doesn't get to be in the locker room, who doesn't quite know maybe how outgoing Brandon Graham is, or
the smells?
Let's get there. I figured we were going there. I figured we were going there.
Yeah, what's
so
it like to have a locker next to
teammate,
Brandon Graham?
if any teammates need tips, if anybody need tips on cologne or smell good, you can at BG, you can DM him because his locker is full of cologne. Anytime you want to smell good. So all the guys come over like, yo, BG, what you wearing today? What you wearing? He was like, oh, man, I got this sample right here because I ain't want to buy the bottle. I got this sample. You can have it, though. I'll get another one. And you know, that's very outgoing.
You've got a good BG impression.
Oh, yeah. And I think he never has a bad day. You know, he always is just positive about everything. And I'm so glad that he's, like, beside me because it's always positive. It's no complaining. It's, all right, Fletch, we got to go. Like, I need you. I'm like, I got you, BG.
And now Bo had a line in a story last year about Brandon and his family that, like, Brandon's the guy in the locker room who is FaceTiming or on the phone on speaker all the time, right?
Oh,
like,
I don't think he knows what headphones is. He has no idea what headphones is, right?
Yes.
It's like you walk out of a meeting, he on FaceTime.
Yeah.
You walk into the locker room, he on FaceTime. I don't think he literally call anybody. He FaceTimes everybody. And you know,
is there warning? Like, is there warning that?
Oh, it's all day.
Okay,
it's all day FaceTime. Yeah, that's all day FaceTime. But that's BG though. Like everybody know, like BG he gonna call his kids, call his family, call his wife, FaceTime them all. You know, like, and that's the part you respect about him. You know, he's a big family man, and he loves everybody. You know, I could FaceTime him probably right now. Nah, he might not answer my phone call. So y'all ain't gonna get me with that. Nah, But yeah, that's him.
And now, Fletch, do you catch yourself looking around here as your time with us for the season comes to an end? Like, get a little wistful?
Yeah, man, I enjoyed it. You know, it's been fun. Definitely a different experience for me. You know, doing something like this, kind of opened up another door for me to do this, and I can't thank y'all enough for the opportunity. Honestly, to kind of get me out of my box, because at first I was just being like, you know, grumpy Fletch, like, nah, I ain't doing that. Like, nah, I'm not wasting my time. But you know, over this season, I really, really enjoyed it, and I can't thank y'all enough.
Well, we really appreciate you doing it.
Yes, sir.
For the season. What made you want to do it?
Just kind of get out of. I like trying different things. I like being uncomfortable sometimes, and you know, getting comfortable being uncomfortable sometimes is really good for you, really good for me, you know, mentally and physically, because like I said, it's opened a lot of doors, and you know, you get to here and talk with two of the best in the media in Philly, two really good guys.
Appreciate that.
But you know, had it been a few other people, probably not.
I appreciate that. Did you have something to say? Sorry.
No, I was going to say the audience has loved getting to know you. So the seat's open anytime you want it. If you're ever in the neighborhood and you want to stop on by, you have an open invitation.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much,
Fletcher. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks so much for all the time you've spent with us this season. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I see y'all tomorrow. No, Thursday.
Thursday.
See you Thursday.
I see y'all Thursday.
We all silly like the mayor.